afternoon, fitness fam. This is Crunches and Coffee. I am podcasting to you from Salem, Massachusetts. My name is Erin Turowski, and that's Eturowski, E-T-U-R-U-C-K-S-K-I on Instagram. Hey, it's been about a week. It's been a big week. GORUCK's had some big announcements this week, so I wanted to check in. This is going to be a little bit longer podcast today because they have brought up some interesting issues that are kind of near and dear to my heart. Because they address running as well as rucking. So we're going to have some stuff to chat about. I feel very strongly about that, as you will see. So first things first, again, this is Crunches and Coffee. I think this is episode 14, maybe 13, somewhere in the teens. Been doing this for about a month now. If you like what I'm putting down, make sure to hit the thumbs up button to like, subscribe for updates, and if you've got any questions in the meantime, put them in the comments. I'm pretty responsive. I like to read what you guys are thinking of. And hopefully after today, you guys are going to have some stuff to say, because I sure do. What do we got for coffee today? This is my second one. I am really, really caffeinated right now. The first one was a venti ice blonde Americano from Starbucks. Lots and lots of caffeine with a shot of sugar-free vanilla and some half and half. Good times. I got that to get me through the last couple miles of my ruck. Today I'm flying high. Got up at about 7:30, went to the park down the street, did a ruck workout. It was the Devil's Mile. It sucked. It's only a mile, but you start off with the ruck, of course. Quarter mile bear crawls, and a quarter mile is just about a lap around the ballpark. So quarter mile bear crawls, quarter mile crab walks, quarter mile ruck lunges, and quarter mile holding your ruck overhead, which if your ruck comes down, you stop. And then you keep going when you pick it up again. It took me about 55 minutes. It's good. My shoulder, I've been having, I think, some rotator cuff issues with my left shoulder. It started to pinch a little bit with the crab walks, so I actually nixed them and did another half mile of lunge walks instead. So my quads are spicy right now, real spicy. And then after that, I rucked 6 miles around downtown Salem. Today is the Salem Half Marathon. I think that started at 7 o'clock in the morning, so there were a lot of people out running. It was inspirational to be out with them. I ran that last year, didn't do it this year. The timing just didn't work out, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work with training in my new job, so I sat out this year. But it was fun to watch the people running it out this morning too. So I'm going to put some links in the description. Last night I got home and did just a very basic Pathfinder beginning ruck workout number 15. That's kind of my go-to. It's got some overhead, some shoulders, some core, some abs, some legs. So that's a nice 30 to 40 minute workout. I'll put a link in the description, and I'll also put a link to the Devil's Mile, which is, I think, the Pathfinder Advanced workout number 8 maybe. But they'll be down there in the description if you want to do those. So after 2 cups of coffee and 3 hours of working out, I am feeling pretty good right now. And I really needed it because this week was my second week at my new job. I'm finally settling into a rhythm. I didn't get any really hard workouts in during the week, but I did at least take my ruck to and from work. So I got about 1.5 miles of rucking each way every day, which is better than nothing. And that's part of the important thing with fitness is you have to make it work when you can. Like if you're busy, get it done. I mean, even if you're just rucking a couple miles a day, it's still better than sitting on your sofa, Netflix, and chill after you get home from work. So just do something, make a little change. I also cut back on my sugar a little bit this week too, which was one of my goals, just as I try to settle into things. So far so good. I actually made a list today because it's been a good week for GORUCK. One other thing. So the big thing with GORUCK this week has been this focus on ruck running. So this is something that kind of came up in the last couple days. There's a video of Jason on the Facebook GORUCK page, not the GRT page, but the GORUCK brand page. And it's about 10 minutes, I think, and shows you how to ruck run. So he talks about some form, he talks about technique, he talks about how this is an advanced form of rucking. I think people are going to get hurt. I don't know how I feel about this. I know a lot of people, why they get into rucking is because they don't like running. And if you'll think about some of the earlier GORUCK stuff, Jason very specifically says, why ruck? Because running sucks. And now with this brand inclusivity, trying to get like women and kids and dogs and runners into rucking too, like I get it from a marketing standpoint. exercise-wise, I think it's going to be difficult territory for them. And legally, too. We'll chat about that a little bit as well. So the first big announcement was last weekend, and they released the IO Cross trainers, which are kind of to go hand in hand with their McAfee boots. So they're basically like low-cut tennis shoes. They have a grippy sole. They're supposed to be pretty good for rucking or for shuffling or for running inside or outside. And I think the price point on them is about $100, which is pretty good with the SCARS warranty. If you can get a life warranty on the sole, I go through running shoes like they're made out of butter. Some of my weeks are 50-mile training weeks with like 40 pounds on my back. So I'd kill shoes like houseflies. Really, I go through a lot of running shoes, probably 5 or 6 pairs a year. So I want to get my hands on a pair of those when I'm ready for a new pair of shoes, but I just bought 2 new pairs, so I'm not in the market right now. But somewhere down the line, I'll get my hands on a pair and I'll let you guys know what I think. So that was kind of phase 1. So they released these shoes and everybody's like, oh, well, that's a little bit different. Cool. They were really well received. And then yesterday, there comes an announcement and an email blast that there is a new event for next November, which is going to be the Rucking World Championships in Washington, D.C. And I think it's $199 if you enter before August 20th, I think prior to 3 months before the event, and you get their new Speed Rucker. We'll talk about that a little bit too. But just a quick rundown. So ruck running is basically running with a ruck on. It had a not so graceful introduction to the world of CrossFit at the CrossFit Games. I think it was Dan Bailey was dropping like sandbags out of his pack. What they were doing at the CrossFit Games was basically run a 1600 or 1500 with 20 pounds, add 10 pounds, another 10-pound filler bag for your next lap, run another mile. Do that until your last mile is 50 pounds for 1,500 meters, and then you're done. So 6,000 meter ruck run with increasing weight. And it was not good. There were sandbags flying, there were bloody shirts, there were ruck stamps on everybody's lower backs, there were people afterwards saying, oh my God, I hurt my skin. Things that people who have been rucking for a while don't necessarily have an issue with. Also, we use weight plates, and we're not like running around throwing sandbags in where rucks generally is we're working out. So it was kind of a catastrophe. And there was a lot of flack in the Rogue and the CrossFit communities from it. So I think this is trying to take it a little more elegantly into the field of rucking. I guess my biggest issue is that it's really hard to imagine somebody who's successful at running being successful at rucking. Go to a marathon. Like, the people who are going to be doing a good job there, they're going to be leggy, they're going to be lean, they're going to be sinewy and small for the most part. And then go to selection or go to an HTL or go to a heavy and look at the people who are going to be successful there. They're going to be muscular. They're going to have traps and shoulders and quads and core strength. And they're going to be a different kind of endurance athlete. They're going to be much more anabolically tilted and not as much catabolically, anaerobically tilted like the runners are, like the marathon runners are. So trying to reconcile those two, just even looking at the body types in my mind, is kind of evidence that these are two opposing goals, and I think it's going to be tough to find people that are good at both, which of course means that if you are good at both, you've earned your $3,500 cash prize, which is the first prize for the individual division for the Rucking World Championships. The other thing is too, there's a lot of people that get into rucking because for whatever reason they don't feel comfortable running, and I'm one of those people. Like, I have crappy knees. If you're a larger person, it can be tough to move. If your cardio isn't up to snuff, it can be hard to move long distances at a run, much easier at a shuffle or a walk. So the people that get into rucking, I feel like, do it for different reasons than the people that get into running. And I think if you're trying to scale up into ruck running, there is a very high potential for injury. And I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physical trainer, I'm not an exercise physiologist, but I am a veterinarian, and I do see sports-related injuries in dogs. I see a lot of muscle strains and sprains. I see a lot of ACL tears. I see a lot of collateral ligament tears. And these, by and large, are dogs that are overweight and are pushed too hard. They're out chasing a bunny and they take a wrong turn. Their owners decide they're going to get them in shape and they take them for a 2-mile walk or a 3-mile walk, as soon as the weather gets nice in the springtime, and they get hurt because they're not used to it and they're overweight and they may or may not have underlying metabolic problems that cause protein breakdown in their bodies. Like Cushing's disease is very common in dogs and can cause some major problems with collagen and other proteins in the body. So I do see injuries that are related to large creatures trying to become smaller, fitter creatures, and I can't imagine that's not going to be an issue with ruck running. If you're taking people who are rucking and are not aware of their limitations and trying to go into running. And the milepost for this Rucking World Championships is 50 miles, which it's basically a star course, but I think they've taken out like the Instagram social media part of it. You basically show up, you got a waypoint, you meet a cadre at your next waypoint, they give you your next one, and you do that until you've covered 50 miles. So it's a similar idea to Star Course, more competitive, bigger prizes. You also need to have either completed a Star Course 50 miles in under 20 hours or have completed a 4-hour marathon. And then they make you show proof to register for it. So some other big differences between the Star Course and the Rucking World Championship is that for the Rucking World Championship, the weight requirement is higher, and it's also scaled to sex. So for Star Course, it's 10 pounds if you're under 150, it's 20 if you're over. For the Rucking World Championships, it's 20 pounds if you're a woman and 30 if you're a man. And I think this has been an issue in the running world recently, is not everybody identifies simply as a woman or a man. And there's been some buzz in the Connecticut high school athlete community because there are a pair of distance runners, I think, who are competing in female events and blowing away the competition because they're born as males or they have some male traits. The bottom line is they have testosterone in their bodies, and there's a lot of people who are pissed and who are suing about it because they believe that this conveys an unfair advantage to these athletes. And I think one of the problems that GORUCK has the potential to run into, especially with an event that's so far in the future and they're pushing so hard to runners and has such a focus on male versus female, they might run into this. And I think they need to be careful about how they qualify people and mitigate potentially, because they're seeing a lot of lawsuits now in the running world with transgendered individuals. So for some food for thought, I have to reach over and refresh my computer because my list is blacked out. Yeah, so there's cash prizes, and I think, like I said, anytime you have an event that's this publicized and there's money on the line, you have the potential for there to be either abuse or just because you're reaching out to a wider population, you're going to incorporate more diverse athletes. So some things for them to consider, I guess, as they're organizing. The other thing I want to talk about with the Rucking World Championships is the Speed Rucker, which is the new bag. The idea being that it's a streamlined version of the regular rucker. I think it weighs like 2.5 pounds compared to a rucker with a hip belt, which is like 3.2 pounds. It has an integrated reflector strip, so you don't have to add reflectors to it, and it's supposed to be just a little bit more efficient for fast rucks. I noticed something interesting. If you watch Jason's video on ruck running, he specifically says you don't need a waist belt, and a waist belt is going to bring your weight down and make it more difficult for you to run. So he doesn't recommend ruck running with a waist belt. The Speed Rucker has a waist belt built into it. It's going to add weight, first of all. Second of all, it's not going to help your technique. And third of all, it's going to cause potentially just more places for your t-shirt to get pinched in and cause hot spots or chafing or whatever. So I think it's kind of interesting that they chose to include a waist belt when Jason specifically says he doesn't recommend a waist belt for ruck running. And I don't know. I think that's kind of funny, right? So when I do ruck running or quick, usually for my time 12 miler, I'll use a bullet, and that's for a couple reasons. The bullet only weighs 1.3 pounds. It does not have a hip belt. I don't put one on it because you'd have to kind of rig it into the front molly, and I think that would be dumb. I do put a sternum strap on it to keep it in place. But what I like best about using the bullet for running is it's very narrow, and I'm a woman, so my shoulders are not very wide, but it doesn't impede your arm movement when you're trying to run, and it also stays in place pretty well. I'm going to dislodge my cat. I'm going to show you what I mean. So I've got some visual aids to show you. this is my Rucker. I don't use it very much. I usually either use a GR1 or a bullet for events, but if I put this on, let's hope the straps are kind of reasonably placed for it today. It's very wide, but this is what most people are using for like events now, is a Rucker. They're a little bit optimized, so I don't know if you can see or not. It's pretty wide on my back. It does impair my arm movement if I go like this. So I don't typically like running in a Rucker because it's wide. So what I usually do, and I'm going to grab my bullet so you can see the difference. I run with a bullet instead because it's much more narrow. It only covers the middle of your back. So you can move your arms much more freely, much more quickly. And again, it's half the weight of the Rucker. So I really like this for running, whether I'm using a weight or not, or if I just want to get somewhere fast and run with a bag on my back, my bullet's my go-to bag. And I have a hard time, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This one works really well for running. It really does. I like it a lot. So if you've got a bullet, I don't know. I think the Speed Rucker is 15 liters. This is 10. I don't know. It's a good deal to register for the event and get a bag and your event registration, because I think just the event itself is $150 if it's after August 20th. But I like my bullet, man. It's a solid bag. I have 2 of them. So I think those are my thoughts on. Yeah, that was a lot to talk about, but I had strong feelings about ruck running. I want to make sure I got that all in there between the new shoes and the new bag and the Rucking World Championships and just kind of ruck running in general. I don't know. I think there's the potential for some problems, injuries, anytime you're trying to incorporate more people into something new and there's money on the line, I think there's going to be some tensions. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure I'll talk about it more in the future. And we'll see. So, I did have a little bit of swag that I got this week I wanted to share with you guys. The first thing that arrived was my patch. I think this is the August monthly challenge for GORUCK, the Guerrilla Ops. So you can see that. So this is the one you had to do for the 4 workouts for, like the Mad Mile, and the other ones that I just can't remember right now. But there were 4 prescribed workouts. Do them, get a patch. Cool. I'll put it on the board. I got a new patch for this week, so I have lots and lots of room for new patches. And then the other one I got was from Rucking Challenges, or Ruck.beer. They're the same company. But Ryan was kind enough to publish my my HTL AAR and Ruck.beer. So he sent me a nice note. And he also sent me the Ruck.beer patch that I asked for. Said, so I wrote something for you. Can I have a patch? He said, sure. So thanks, Ryan. And I, hot off the mail. Here they are. So some good swag. I'm going to put them together so I can maybe use this for a screenshot. So they'll go on the patch board. The Ruck.beer one's nice and shiny and white too, so I don't want to get that one dirty. That's not going to go for any events. Yeah, I think that is finally it. This has been 18 and a half minutes, so a very long episode, but I haven't really touched base with you guys for a while, and there have been a lot of big things to come out for GORUCK this week, so I'm glad we got to talk about them. If you have any comments on ruck running, or the new bags, or the new event, or the new shoes, I'd love to hear them. Put them in the comments below. Like I said, I'm going to put links to the workouts in the description. I also, on my 6-mile ruck this morning, I also got some time to play Harry Potter and Pokemon for a little bit. So I guess I'll put my friend IDs in there too. If anybody's watching and wants to add me as a friend, apparently there's a new Pokemon challenge that you have to have friends for, and I don't have any more friends that aren't Pokemon players. So if you want to add me as a friend, feel free. I'll put them in there. But yeah, other than that, I'm just, trying to keep stuff under control with the new job, trying to get back into my workout habit and my nutrition habit. And team assessment is coming up in June. So every day now is, it's starting to become a little more apparent in my brain that I have to train for this. So Tina and I are going to go out with the Beantown Ruck Club tomorrow. We're going to take a sandbag and I think do about 3 miles. And our rule's going to be the sandbag doesn't touch the ground unless there's dumplings in our hands or our mouths. So it'll be a good time. Yeah, so that's it. This is Crunches and Coffee. Again, I'm Erin Turuski, Eturuckski on Instagram. If you like what I'm doing here, hit the thumbs up, subscribe for updates, write any comments below. And it's a really nice weekend here in New England. I think it's supposed to be nice all week, so looking forward to getting in some good rucking and some good workouts. If you guys are going to do anything fun, tell me about it. If you've got any good workouts or good long rucks planned, tell me about it in the comments. But until we talk next time, go out and do something good for your body today. Bye.